Right, so we have an opportunity today to talk about the territories of Haiti. And the basis for this conversation is on this story that was published 2 days ago. Now, in about 82 days, Haiti will host the Caribbean Cycling Championship. It's kind of like the Tour de France, people on bicycles and they're racing. 200 cyclists are participating. 200 cyclists from 27 countries. So you could imagine how epic the images are going to look that comes from it. I know over here where I live in South Florida, there are cycling clubs, and they're out, maybe about 80 of them, and it just looks amazing when they ride down the road, like just a crowd of cyclists. So imagine 200 of them riding through the coast, riding along the coast of Haiti, up the hills. A very long ride this is going to be. Just imagine the images and the promotions for the country such an event would have. But at this point in time, the Minister of Sport, as well as the committee, the Haitian Cycling Federation, they're kind of concerned about their ability to host it. They say the reason would be because of the roads and because of lodging for the cyclists, finding them place. I don't believe lodging is an issue because I believe it was reported last summer that, there was an availability of rooms of about 80% in the country, and this was during the summer. So there are rooms available. I believe there are hotels that could house people for a good price for the promotion. It takes some, that can be figured out. What will be difficult is the issue of the roads, which is the other issue that they have. Some of the roads are in poor condition. And to be in poor enough condition that you can't even ride a bike through, it must be pretty bad. Because I don't think, a dirt road would be as bad. Too much dirt could be a problem. So we probably talking about that. We're probably talking about, cracks that are very deep where a crowd of cyclists could get hurt, or potholes that are very deep in that sense. Unsturdy bridges and routes along the mountains that could be hazardous. Flooded areas, areas with trash and debris. We're talking about some serious issues. And one of the readers, her name is Flo, she wrote some comments to us and basically was trying to understand what is the issue that these municipalities, the townships, can't get it together, where these roads aren't in such disrepair, or because what the committee has to do now is travel to every single town along the road and try to see what they can do to get things together. And that's inefficient. They shouldn't have to go to every individual town. It should be handled a different way. And in here, we get a chance to talk about the way Haiti is constructed nationally when it comes to governance. Okay, so let's start with this: departments. Haiti has here it says 10 departments. At one point it used to be 9, but I see we're 10 now. We have 10 departments, and within each of those departments there are these communes. Some have 3, some have 4, some departments. Well, most departments have a lot. And then further on in the departments and in the communes, there are circumscriptions, they're called. They're kind of like districts. how we would say. The communes are counties, and the departments are like states. But if you guys remember, it's been the talk for many years in Haiti, actually, since the Duvalier era, which is back in the 50s, late 50s. People have seen there is a issue of centralization in Haiti where all the power is now concentrated in Port-au-Prince. They call Haiti at times the Republic of Port-au-Prince rather than the Republic of Haiti because these communes out here are all essentially neglected. Very rare does some of the resources in this department 8 is spread to these other departments, and at least not equitably. And it was under the Duvalier regime where people started leaving their farms, leaving the rural areas to move into the city to work in the sweatshops, the factories. In fact, that's the story of my family. We are from number 6 over here, the Northeast, Nord-Est, one Fort Liberté. My aunt, she was the first. She went to work for Coca-Cola back in the 60s. My mother followed, and eventually I was born in Port-au-Prince, down the road. But, they were migrated from up here in the north. Beautiful, beautiful Fort Liberté, beautiful city, beautiful everything about it. So we have a centralization problem, and what that causes is a lack of governance in the rural regions. Like, everybody knows decentralization was the talking point of the Martelli administration. They didn't do anything about it. Decentralization has been the talking point, and it's not just Martelli, but of every administration since, and they haven't solved it. In fact, their issue, I would say, is that they think decentralization means putting money into these areas. For the central government to go over here and say, okay, we're going to do a road for you. For the central government to go to the south, to Jacmel, and say, okay, we're going to have a carnival here. That was Martelli's thing, to have carnival in every major town. He had one in Okap. He was having 2 carnivals a year, Petro Caribe. So that's what we got from his manner. And I wasn't really paying attention to Haiti in a real serious way before 2009, so I can't really speak of other administrations' methods for decentralizing, but it was similar to what the Martelli administration did, where they think, hey, let's go out here and let's do a little program over here, let's do a little That's not decentralization. Decentralization is to decentralize power, and as we all know, with the corruption and with the greed, the people in government don't want to share power, and rather they get lawmakers. You'll hear about lawmakers are the ones that have the money to hold the feds in their commune, which is ridiculous. People that are legislating should not be executing with money in their hands. That's not decentralization. That's corruption. It's actually against the Constitution, but that's what they do in Haiti. We do have these things called departmental delegates. Now, I don't think there's anything I could look up online about departmental delegates. Haiti, I don't believe there's anything here about it, but we have departmental delegates, but it's a mess because a departmental delegate is, first of all, chosen by the president. So it's a centralized thing still. They are controlled by the president, and that doesn't work. And usually they're in Port-au-Prince rather in the departments that they should be in. And they really don't have power in the sense except for, just a voice, just a representative to talk to the central government about what needs to be done here. And yeah, there's no power in these departments. The departments in Haiti do not have their own power. And that brings me to the solution part. And in fact, the solution part is already solved within the Constitution, but not fully, but already solved. See, I'm going to try to use this whiteboard here. In Haiti, you have the central government, but you have these things called Kazakhs and Azecs. Like the way executive administration should work is you have the president here, the president, with his government, the administrators, and all that stuff. They're all in here. I'm trying to use this whiteboard. They're all in here. That's the central government. I wonder if there's somewhere I could type. Here we go. Central government. You have the central government. But below that, you have mayors. You have the mayors, which are, mayors, township councils, etc. I guess I don't really need to draw that out. You have township councils or whatever. And then below that, we have these things called Azecs and Kazakhs. Azecs and Kazakhs, which are what I could say they're the equivalent of. They're kind of like they're basically over the districts. They're executive district administrators. So, you may have a mayor, but for each of the districts in the commune that the mayor is over, there are Kazakhs and Azecs, which I believe the Kazakh is the higher rank, and then that breaks down into the Azecs. So you essentially have like a pyramid structure for the Haitian government. You got your president, then you have your mayors, then you have your Azecs and Kazakhs for each mayor under here, and it just forms a pyramid. Boom. There you go, whiteboard. I'm probably going to have to practice this, using this a little bit more. But that's really not efficient enough. What I have been always trying to propose is that we make Haiti work basically like a federal system. It is the federal system that we have here in the United States. In Haiti, it's not federal. It's like a fake federal, with the departmental delegates serving as governors, but really they're not elected by the departments. I believe each department should have a governor that is not chosen by the president here, his homies that are from Port-au-Prince, but rather that are elected by the people of that department. Okay? So now you have somebody from that department that is elected as the governor of that department, who is from that department and who is the choice of the people of this department. That's the first step. And then each of these departments should have their own power. They should be able to collect their own taxes. Like, still you have to pay the federal taxes, but they ought to be able to collect their own taxes in that department in order to solve needs that are particular to them. And they should also have departmental legislatures, which make laws for each department. It's basically the federal system that we have in the United States. Because when we have that type of setup now, a department such as the South, which is big for tourism, Jacques Mel, Okay. Now they can have laws, that is better for them because the same laws that this department, number 9 here, the Southeast, would be different than, number 2 over here, which is the Central Plateau, the Sun department. Over here, it's mostly farmers. A few farmers here, but there's mining going on in the north. Their laws need to be different, and Port-au-Prince cannot be dictating that. Like here, they may have certain laws for the control of livestock. Maybe you could let your livestock walk the streets and free, but in Port-au-Prince, that's not allowed. Although it's allowed, it happened. I remember seeing a massive cow walking down the street where we were driving on. I was like, wow. And not a cow, a bull. Like it was a longhorn. Very, very, very crazy. But something like that would be allowable in a department like Latibonite or the Central Department, but really shouldn't be allowed in Port-au-Prince. And down here, where people come and visit for vacation and stuff, maybe they can legalize marijuana down there. Maybe you can drink out in public down here, but that's probably not something we want happening in Port-au-Prince or in these more quiet areas, mining areas of the north here. Or perhaps, let's look at Jeremy down here in the southwest. What would be particular to them? Guess what? I'm not sure. I've never been there. Well, have I? No, I haven't been down there. But they should be able to decide what works for them. So that's how decentralization works. It's not about the central government coming and doing something over here. And you'll continue to hear that even from some of the smartest Haitian public figures. They'll say, oh, that's the kind of decentralization we need. Why the government never comes over. That's not what you need. What you need is your own power here. And it even fuels competition because now this department is going to try to innovate and come up with ideas to compete with this department, to bring investment into this department, into their department. And so will this department. And they will learn from each other because now this department says, hey, the education system over here seems to be working better than ours. Let's see what they're doing. And then they grow with each other because they're innovating and competing with each other. And competition is important in Haiti. Right now they came up during the Martelly administration with this idea that all the uniforms across the nation are going to be, every school's going to wear the same uniforms. That's insane. That's nonsense. It's called, what did I call it at the time? I have an article about it. I called it, it's bidonville. Like a bidonville means like a slum, but that's what it is. It's a bidon project and whenever you take away the individuality of the people and you give them a blanket requirement, it creates slums, So now the schools, every school looks the same. Every school has the same colors, the same, maybe not the same mascot or the same name, of course, but, now people aren't really taking in personal pride for what they have. And the reason why I call it Bidonville projects, because, when you have a project, people don't really care about the homes or the apartment that they live in because they don't own it. But when you allow home ownership, people invest in their home, they invest in their neighborhood, they pay taxes gleefully because it's theirs, and they then try to do things to make it, to improve it. But when everything is the same, people don't really care because they don't own it. It's controlled by the central government. So, and what that would be for them is, first of all, most of these departments, if we had the system I just explained in place, most of these departments would have had their act together before we even got here. Because first of all, they would have been on their own. The quote unquote governors of these departments would understand, hey, I have to do something for these roads in order to stay elected. In in the townships, you would think that would be the case as well. But the issue with the roads is that you have state roads, you have departmental roads, you have national roads, and then you have county roads. The federal government takes care of the national roads, the roads that run from maybe Port-au-Prince all the way to the north to Ocop, from the north to the south. That's something the federal government manages. But within the departments, that's something a department should manage. The federal government has already, I mean, the central government has already failed to do that, which is why we have this issue. And then the town roads are usually very small, little back neighborhood roads. And those are usually not as important as, these major roads that people need to travel on. So the issues, to answer the question from the young lady who sent it, the issue that we have why they can't get it together is because of we don't have a decentralized government. And we will continue to see issues and problems like that until we have a real decentralization of government. Now, maybe, Haiti might come up on some money, 100 million, 200 million, and you'll hear a president say, okay, we about to repair roads. Martelli did this with the Petrocard money. We about to repair this kilometers of road down there in Jeremy. We about to rebuild the port over here, do this, do that. Bobine, because that's not going to solve the problem when it comes to maintenance. And you're going to hear them say that. So next time you hear people talking about decentralization, if they're not talking about giving power to the departments, giving power to the communes, because it actually continues. I explained how power could be given to the departments, but then that power, that departmental power, needs to be given to the communes. So we don't just elect a governor for the department and set that up and think we're solved. Now it's on that governor of the department to also empower the communes, because that makes things easier for him, because he doesn't know what's going to happen. He may be from one particular commune. He may be from, like, if we're talking Port-au-Prince, he might be from this commune, which I think is Kafu. But the issue of roads or whatever might be happening over here. And it would be a certain type of prejudice and bias to expect him to be able to in a fair way, in an equitable way, solve those problems. You understand? So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I mean, I hope they get it together. I mean, it's not the first time there's been uncertainty about hosting an international event. We've usually been able to pull through and do it anyways, but how many chances were we going to get? Why do other nations need to be looking at the headlines and saying, dang, this thing might be real crazy. Maybe we won't participate this year. There doesn't need to be that type of uncertainty. It really doesn't work. So, yeah, that's what it is, man. Definitely subscribe to Haiti Sentinel on YouTube. Hope you guys do, and get the notification. Coming soon will be lives. I will be on camera. Right now I'm doing a lot of talking, but I'm getting my equipment together. There is a Patreon page, Haiti Sentinel, on Patreon. Look it up. Please join in. Trying to get a major studio going. Trying to do a Sunday morning panel. We have some interesting guests to bring on, and of course, if you want to join and actually write, publish, produce content together, I hope you will. because this is something I want to share with everybody. You know, it's not just supposed to be a me show. I just thought to create it and definitely open it up for others to come along and also grow their own personal brands by doing it. Because right now, you know, I'm growing mine, I hope. But you can do your own through this. You know, it's not a dictatorship over here. So I believe that's all I have to say regarding this issue, and that's it.